Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carl Prusa MMA. We got a special guest for you today. My guest recently was victorious in his UFC debut. He's coming off of a big Dana White Contender Series victory this summer against Aaron Tao. He is the 7-1 Mr. Elijah Swift Smith. Elijah, what's going on, my friend? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I can't complain. Uh, yeah, life has been great. And actually, I don't mean to correct you, but I'm actually 8-1.
8-1. Uh-oh, topology.
No, you're all good.
8-1 Elijah Smith here. Elijah, it's kind of crazy when you look at you, only 22 years old, already in the big shows, accomplished so much already. He's just such a young fighter. Obviously, your dad, Gilbert Smith, was in the UFC, completed a very long time in combat sports. From an early age, was it a no-brainer what you were doing with your life?
No. I wanted to play football. MMA wasn't even something that was part of the plan. I've been wrestling since I was 6, and because of COVID, my dad, we have our own gym. Like, he's the gym owner and the head coach. So during COVID, we were just training, and then I was like, all right, let's go take a fight and see what happens. And yeah, it went successful. And then once I started seeing success in the MMA, I slowly got away from football. But football is still one of my favorite sports.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. When your dad first started doing this, it was not as culturally accepted as what it is today. The amount of horror stories that I've heard of guys having to find like barns, bars, outside, mystery opponents, all this stuff. Now we have sanctioned regional promotions, and it's very professional and it's very mainstream. When you were younger, what did you first make of your dad's job as being a professional fighter?
I don't think I really quite because I was so young at the time when he first told us, because he took his first fight, I want to say, in 2009, and at that time we didn't even know what he was doing. Like, he didn't tell us. So it wasn't until his second fight he finally told us. Like, my mom, she knew and everything, but like, from me and my other siblings, we didn't know. We were just like, oh. One day, my dad, he came home with a cast on his hand. We was like, what the hell? He had broke his hand in the fight. So, but once we finally got to see him fight live, it was cool, but it was nerve wracking. It was like one of those things. Like, I hate it. Like, your stomach is in your ass, and you're like, bro, like, I don't want my dad to lose. So, watching him fight was cool, but like I said, it was just super nerve wracking, and that was just something I didn't want to be a part of initially. Just having that anxiety feeling, that it was just crazy.
Were there more nerves watching your dad fight than what you feel when you go out there and fight yourself?
100%. I have more nerves when I see my training partners fight than when I fight, just because I can't control the circumstances. It's like I can't hop in if they're in trouble. I can't hop in and try to defend them or something like that. So it's definitely tough. Like, and I've watched friends and training partners, get beat, and it just sucks watching. Like, man, because you've seen what they've gone through, through whole fight camp. You've seen them, the ups and downs, and you just want to see them win. But unfortunately, it's not always that case every night.
Absolutely. One thing we're really seeing from you is you're a well-rounded mixed martial artist. I mean, the striking's unbelievable. You're a very good wrestler, very good when you get guys to the mat. At what point in their career did you really start thinking, hey, if I'm going to try to do this, if I'm going to try to make a run in the UFC and be one of the best in the world, I need to be as well-rounded as possible?
I think that really came from just being a wrestler. I knew I had a good background. Like I said, when I first started, I was like, if a guy's piecing me up on the feet, I'm gonna take his ass down. I know I have that in my back pocket. And so with having the wrestling, I was like, okay, if I take him down, how am I going to finish him? Then I started going into jiu-jitsu. Then I'm like, okay, these guys, as I started getting more, these guys started kicking me, leg kicks. I was like, okay, now I got to start learning, I got to learn kickboxing and, or Muay Thai. And it just kept on. The more that I stayed in the sport, the more that I had to take a lot of lessons. And with those lessons made me improve myself in my fight career to be a well-rounded MMA fighter. So it's learning by and all those just happen in sparring rounds. Like, oh snap, you know, I'm taking so and so down, but now I can't find the finish because obviously I'm not going to be ground and pounding my training partner in a sparring match. I'm like, man, I want to go out there and look for the submission, look for the finish, and that's something that if anybody looked at my dad's career, that was something that he was really predicated on. Like you see on his resume, he has a lot of submissions. He's a second-degree black belt, and now I'm almost to my brown belt right now. I would say hopefully by the end of the year I'll be able to achieve that. Do a couple of competitions and get a couple of submissions in the fights, and hopefully I get my brown belt.
And I really feel like this game of mixed martial arts is changing more and more and more every year. And one of the things we're seeing now is, you have to be a very skilled, well-rounded fighter, but you also have to have that entertainment, have to have that showmanship, that personality factor as well. Let's face it, there's guys who put on straight characters because they knows they're going to get them title shots, they're going to get the money fights in the UFC, maybe hand-picked opponents, going to make their life a little easier. How do you feel that personality and entertainment has impacted combat sports?
I think definitely got to have a personality. I mean, at the end of the day, we are entertainers. It's just what it is. We're guys who go out there and fight under in front of thousands of people. So, if you go out there and you have a bland character, it's like you could win, but nobody's going to pay attention to you. Nobody's going to remember you. So do you want to make yourself memorable or just another guy? So, I think having a character really really plays a big part into your MMA career, especially when you get to the UFC. And I would say you don't have to fake the character. Just be authentic with yourself. Me, I'm real nonchalant, so I don't really take anything too serious. But I like to goof around. I'm young, and I feel like that's something why I can kind of relate to the younger generation that's about to come up into the UFC as well. Because I mean, now we're getting to the point where, John Jones is getting ready to retire. How many greats have retired this year? A lot of them.
I feel older and older after every single one to do it.
So I feel like we're definitely coming into a new generation of MMA fighters, and I mean, but back to what you said, having a character, having something to have people remember you by, I think is very detrimental, especially when you're talking about sponsorships and all that. They want to see that.
I think a big byproduct of this whole entertainment personality-driven phenomenon is a term called the casual fan. So these people, they're usually at B-dubs and drunk. They like to yell, twist them, and the you-know-what. They like all these.
I was at the fight this past week, and that's all I was hearing. The Alex Pereira fight, I was in the crowd, and that's all I was hearing. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Overall,
I had to tell my parents that, or my mom, my sister, my girlfriend. I was like, y'all be ready for this. Because y'all gonna hear some wild stuff. So like, keep it cool.
Overall, what do you think of the casual fans as a total? Is this just something, it's good for the sport? They're putting eyeballs on it. They're buying pay-per-views. They're funding you guys. But at the same time, is it just like kind of bite your tongue with a lot of it?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I love the casual fans. They're funny. I like to see what they think they would have did. Because every time I'm talking to them, like, oh, I would have did this. I would have slipped this way. I'm like, yeah, I bet you would have. I bet you would have. So I mean, they keep me entertained, and the number one thing, especially with social media, is that you can't take everything serious. Everybody's gonna have an opinion. So why are you gonna spend so much energy on somebody who you don't know? And I'm not gonna sit there. I might say something funny like in a rebuttal, but I'm not gonna go back and forth with somebody online. But I'll keep the entertainment of just to be funny. But I think they are needed. I mean, yeah, they are the ones who are buying the pay-per-views, buying the merch. I mean, put money in our pockets.
I think so many casuals watch the sport and they look at the big names. They look at the Pereiras, the John Joneses, the Jorge Masvidals, and I think they look at these guys and they're like, wow, being a fighter, greatest lifestyle ever. This is amazing. Little they know, man, battling it on the regional scene to get to the big shows, you're losing money. Guys have a 9-to-5 job, throw wives in there for some, kids, pay to train, get up early, stay up late, miss any birthday, holiday, family gathering possible just for the opportunity to chase this and fight the big show. You're a guy, you've gotten there. You've gotten there very young. You're very quick about it and very well deserved to do so. But what's made you stick through all the sacrifices?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the nail. For me, it was almost that same thing because at the time, I mean, because I have a daughter and training full time, um, fighting and working, having a straight 9 to 5 job. It's tough because after work, I already have my clothes packed in and I'm heading straight to the gym. After the gym, uh, I'm going to go grab my daughter, or sometimes I'll leave work, grab my daughter, then head to the gym. And I got put in I thank God because I got put in a position to where I don't have to pay gym funds. With my dad being my head coach and being a gym owner, so I'm grateful for that because I've seen a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of guys, they probably sleep in the gym just because I've seen coaches where they're very sympathetic and they let the guys sleep in the gym, and maybe clean up around the gym instead of paying gym fees. And that's that part. That's the grind that, like you said, a lot of the casuals don't see. They don't see the restless hours. They don't see the weight cuts. They don't see trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay the bills. Just all that little stuff because when you get a fight, on the regional scene, you're only getting 9 times out of 10 you're getting paid maximum maybe 2 and 2 if you're that good. And then after that, you got to pay your coaches. If you have any leftover bills, 9 times out of 10 you're just going out there just to get your record. So yeah, you are losing money. So that would be something, yeah, definitely that the casual fans, I would like them to open their eyes out. And a lot of them, they're gonna be like, "Well, you chose this. You chose to fight. Nobody told you to fight." And it's like, yeah, but we love it, and there's a real career path for it. But we want to be something in life, and some people don't. They don't have anything else to go back to. So fighting for them, it's like their second chance to be something. Some people, they probably been locked up in jail or something like that, probably have felonies, and they can't go out there and be lawyers. They can't go out there and be doctors. Their background check, it just won't hurt. But fighting sometimes gives you that second opportunity.
Before your time on the Dana White Contender Series in the UFC, obviously you battled it out on the regional scene. And something we're seeing in this day and age is we're seeing some promotions out there show favoritism to their guys. You're seeing these top guys undefeated again in the UFC at 10-0, 11-0. But when you look at the record, they're fighting handpicked opponents. They're fighting favorable matchups. You're a guy obviously fighting for Colorado Combat Club, fighting for Fury. When you look at your topology, I mean, you have faced very high level competition on the regional scene, which I think is one of the reasons why you're so prepared right now as 22 in the UFC. Is that something you took a lot of pride in?
Yeah, I took a lot of pride in that. I think I did fight one can though. I did. And I'll tell you why that was. I fought a guy named Jacob, whatever. And I fought him because the promotion was local. So it's here. Where we fought was like 5 minutes away from my house. And they're like, we'll pay you 1-on-1. I was like, okay. I went out there, made $2,000 in 30 seconds. So and it was in front, and that was the first time I ever fought like home. Usually we go up to Denver and go fight, but and I'm in Colorado Springs. So Colorado Springs is about an hour south from Denver. So yeah, we got a fight here at home, and I was like, yeah, for sure. I can't miss up on that. But after that fight, we re-signed with Fury, and then we fought, Josh Walker, who at the time was 8-1. But yeah, you go down my extent, fighting Christian Strong, who's now 9-1. Reyes Cortez, I think he's 8-3. Robert Trujillo, power slap champion now, 5-1. I actually went out. I was actually at the slap fest or the power slap stuff, and that was dope. And obviously, Aaron Tao and Vince Morales, all these. I feel like, yeah, in my early career, I definitely feel like I got that taste of the next level. And I think you're right. It did help me prepare for the UFC scene. when I went out there and I fought Josh Walker, I was like, damn, if I beat this guy, my manager, he told me, he was like, there's a potential you might get a call up. So I went out there I was so focused that fight. But you know what? You know the guy who I was scared the most about fighting? It's actually Christian Strong. I fought him my second amateur fight, or not amateur, my second pro fight. At the time, I was 1-0, and I think he was 2-0, and he had beat Cameron Smotherman and all that. He was a D1 All-American wrestler. I was like, oh, all right, we about to see where my wrestling defense is at, and he tried to take me down twice, and then when I clipped him, I was like, oh wow. Okay, maybe I'm on to something. So that was probably my most nervous fight ever, because I knew what type of guy he is and what type of guy he still is now, because he's 9-1. You know, he's on the tear. I think he should be getting a call up here soon. But yeah.
You know, following the victory over Josh Walker, you got that phone call to be on the Dana White Contender Series. Do you remember where you were? Who called you? Where were you when you got the news?
Yeah, I remember everything. So what had happened was, I remember they told me it was like the winner out of this fight could possibly get a call up. And so I was like, yeah, I was waiting around. Never got the call up. It was cool. So I was scheduled for a fight to fight a guy named Sean Mora in October. And so I was preparing for that fight. So at the time I was at work. I was working at a Subaru dealership here in Colorado Springs. I was a service advisor. And while I'm taking care of customers, my dad is calling me, and I couldn't answer the phone, so I just let it ring out because I was taking care of customers. And then I saw my manager called me, my boy Jason House, and I was like, okay, if my dad is calling me and he's calling me like right after each other, I was like, this might be something. So I finished up with the customer. I called my boy Jason back, and I was like, yo, what's going on? And he was like, Elijah, we might have a spot for you in the Contender Series. One of the guys, he's having visa issues, so we're trying to get you. We're trying to slide you in. And I was like, damn. At that time, I was jumping around. I was like, man, let's go. I was like, I don't even care about any of these customers. They could all wait. They don't know what's going on right now. And yeah, so we waited. It was probably about like 3 days. I got the call on Friday. And Jason, he told me, he was like, yo, we got you. You're locked in. I was like, okay, cool. When we fighting and who we fighting? And this is like in August. He was like, we're fighting September 17th. I was like, damn. I was like, shit, okay. Hold on. Because I actually just came from vacation in California. And the week that I got back from California, I got the call. It was at the end of August. So I was like, damn, okay. Well, that gives me 2.5 weeks. I was like, okay, we'll be good. Who is it? Then he was like, Aaron Tao. And I remember seeing one of his highlight videos on Instagram. It was just on my story. And I looked at it, I thought it was cool, and just passed me by. And once I connected the dots, I was like, oh, damn, let's go. I was like, damn. And then I started seeing his highlights. I was like, I could definitely go out there and put on a show and beat this guy. It was crazy.
No, absolutely. I think it's so amazing. You get that short notice opportunity. You go to headlining one of the weeks of the Contender Series, over a guy that was built up as one of the top prospects of the whole season.
Oh, my goodness.
Very tough-nosed fight. I think you won a lot of people money if they bet on you on that one. But, following the contest, was there any doubt that you're getting that contract?
Hell yeah. There was a lot of doubt. I always tell myself I'm gonna prepare myself for the worst and hope for the best. After the fight, I knew the fight was an exciting fight. It was crazy, especially the last round. But going back, like after they raised my hand, I did the first interview, and they take you back to go talk to the doctors. And while we're walking back and talking to the doctors, I told my dad, I was like, I said, I'm sorry. I was like, I don't think I got the contract. And he was like, what? He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't think I I don't think I got the contract because I was so used to like going out there and getting the finish and being that guy and not getting the finish on the contender series. You know, I was thinking in my head like I'm gonna go out there and smoke this guy. So the fact that we went to a 3-round war, I was like, in my head, I felt like I lost just because I didn't get the finish. Um, and not lost in the sense of losing the fight. I knew I won the fight, but lost because I didn't get the contract. And my dad, he was like, "Yo, you didn't see Dana White? He was standing up, giving you guys a standing ovation." I was like, no, I didn't see that. But now when you say that, now then my confidence. Then that's when I knew I was like, okay, maybe I got the contract. Because honestly, I thought Dana White would have said, Elijah, I like you. You know, you're very talented. I think you're still young and early in your career. So I want you to go back on a regional. I thought he was going to give me that type of speech, and I was already preparing. I'm telling you, I was already preparing myself for the worst. I really was. So when he said get over here, and I was like, oh, I was like, man, I was just I was filled with a bunch of emotions and man, just started tearing up. I was like, man, this is everything that we worked for. So it was a beautiful moment.
You know, I'm sure you get asked about it all the time, but obviously, if you and your dad, father-son combo, that are fortunate enough to make it both to the UFC. He's been with you from the beginning, obviously, a big part of your MMA journey, owning a gym, training with him every single day, getting ready for every single fight together. After that victory, after knowing that you got the contract, that you're official UFC fighter, do you guys have a moment where you're able to embrace and really reflect on the whole journey?
Yeah, I think we definitely did that this past fight against Vince Morales because it's been a crazy 6 months of my life in a good way. You know, we go from fighting in a small little arena in Fury to fighting at the Apex in front of Dana White, and then finally getting my UFC debut. It was like after the fight with Vince, we got back to the hotel and we just kind of just like sat down on the bed and we just like, damn, what a life, what a life, what a ride it's been, and it was just it was a special moment, you know, it was a special moment, and just like I'm just thinking of like all the times like when I first started back when I was an amateur, when I was fighting in bars, and just seeing like where we're at now. It's like, damn, we definitely came a long way. This what happens when you just stay consistent with your craft and just keep believing and keep believing even when times it's hard. So this last fight we definitely just like, damn, this this is our reality now. So enjoy it.
You're coming off of a victorious UFC debut over Vince Morales. You know, went in there, beautiful performance, dominating victory. First time that you had the opportunity to actually have a full-on UFC fight week. Got to do the whole media stuff. You know, got to get there on Tuesday, leave on Sunday. What was that whole experience like for you?
Oh man, we were actually out there from Tuesday to Tuesday.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and the reason why is because they're shooting that UFC or Dana White Contender Series Next Level show. So like they've been obviously with me since the Contender Series, and they've been filming me coming out here, filming my day to day sometimes, all the way up into the debut. So we finished up that on that Tuesday, the following Tuesday. But yeah, to go through the whole thing from media or from checking in to doing all the poster signs like this one in the back, doing all the media, the pictures, getting the gloves, getting all the gear. It was pretty dope because they give you a big duffel bag. I thought I had it with me. They give you a big duffel bag each time, and they just boom dump it full of gear. You know, sweaters, Valentudos, shoes, slides, socks, underwear, all the Venom gear. So it was dope. And I think the other thing is just like people recognize you too. It's a little different now. Like even like throughout the whole airport after the fight, you know, people are like, "Hey, Elijah." I'm like, "Damn, I'm not even on the main card yet. I'm not even high on the prelims." And so it's like it's definitely dope that people are recognizing you and but yeah, man, it's a whole different ball game from being on the regional scene though. Definitely.
For you, what's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal is to become a champion. I always say this, and because everybody always asks me, "What's your dream fight?" I'm not one of those guys that have a dream fight. I have a dream goal. My goal is to become a champion. So whoever has that belt, that's my dream fight. Cause I mean, we don't hop into this game just to, hey, I want to get 3-4 fights in. At least I don't. Especially when you get to the UFC. I don't want to get 3-4 fights in the UFC and then, that's it. I want to be a gatekeeper. No, nobody wants to be a gatekeeper. Everybody wants to be a champion. You ask anybody in the gym what they want to be, and they're gonna tell you, yeah, I want to be a champion. So yeah, that's why I always tell people I don't have a dream fight. I have a dream goal. Because to hold that belt and say that you're the best 135 pounder in the world, what? Nothing else matters to me. Like you can't tell me anything with the belt around my waist.
So obviously you're with Iridium. You mentioned Jason House. When you look at the Iridium roster, you saw a lot of the guys on the Contender Series last year. The amount of young prospects and young talent, yourself, Austin Bashi, Malcolm Wellmaker, Michael Aswell, Nick Klein,
Raul Rojas.
Yeah, exactly. Diego Lopez. I mean, we can go on and on and on with this. Do you really feel like you're part of one of the most dominating teams in all of combat sports?
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, we definitely have the most talent on the roster. And sometimes, it is what it is. It's just business. But sometimes we end up fighting each other, like me and Vince. And not only that, but Vince and Raul Rojas. It's just what it is. And what I like about Iridium is that they keep it to where it's like they make sure they show love to everybody, and like there's no favoritism or anything. They show the same amount of love to you as they do for Diego Lopez. Whatever they can do for you at the time is they're gonna try their hardest. And another good thing that I really like is that they're really communicative. I think of like my guy like Jason. He has like hundreds of fighters, and I could send him a text message right now, and he'll respond to me in like 5 minutes. I'm like, damn. I thought you would have took like a whole to me. I thought you would have took a whole day to respond back to me. Especially when you have somebody like Diego Lopez getting ready for a championship fight. Who's another one? Cheeto is one of his main guys. Cheeto Vera. But yeah, they're always him, Jacob, all those guys, man. They're really cool. At first, I was signed to First Round Management, and but what made me switch was that Jason, he actually flew down to Colorado Springs, and back when I was an amateur, and he came out and talked to me, and I was like, damn, this guy came out all the way from Vegas to come talk to me, and actually show face. I like when people show face. It lets me know that they really are invested, and yeah, since then it's been a great show, a great ride.
So before I let you go here, I want to get your insight on some big fights that are coming up and do a little predictions with you. So we got a big one coming up. Leon Edwards and Sean Brady. Where are we leaning towards on this one?
Man, I want Leon Edwards to get back on top. I really do. But it all depends if he's gotten better with his wrestling defense, because it seemed like he just got outworked in the wrestling department, which allowed Bilal to let his hands go a little bit more, because Leon was so worried about the takedown. So, and I think Sean Brady is almost the same in terms of fighting style with the heavy wrestling, grappling, but I'm gonna have to go with my guy Leon Edwards.
Paddy Pimblett or Michael Chandler?
I think Michael Chandler. I mean, he's hard to submit. Charles Oliveira couldn't submit him. And I don't think Paddy has the real striking capability to go out there and put him out. So I think Michael Chandler squeezes out the decision.
Jack Della or Bilal Muhammad?
I'm gonna go with Bilal. Bilal, yeah, he put that pressure on you, and that's something I don't think Jack has really experienced yet. A little bit with Gilbert, but I think Bilal is more that like I'm gonna stay on you. I'm gonna keep coming, and I'm gonna keep shooting for takedowns, and I'm gonna be in your face, and I'm gonna throw. And his stand up, his stand up has gotten a lot better. So I'm gonna go take a block.
All right, I think it's the toughest one: Diego Lopez or Alex Volkanovski.
Oh, that one wasn't tough for me. I got Diego. And it's not the fact that I don't like Volkanovski. I am a huge fan of Volk. Like, I watch all his videos, all his that he puts on YouTube. Like, I was actually sad when he got knocked out by Islam, and when he got knocked out by Topuria. But I just think Diego Lopez on the ground. I mean, he went with Mazar and gave him a run for his money. Diego Lopez, he's no slouch on the ground. He's a black belt as well. I don't know what degree he is, but he's high level. But what also separates him is his boxing, his combinations, his stand-up, and his kicks. Like, he has heavy hands. I've watched him face to face when he's hitting mids, and I'm like, damn, this guy, he does hit pretty hard. And yeah, I think he has what it takes to beat Volk. Is it going to be easy? No, we all know that, but I think he can. I think he can pull up an upset if he is the underdog.
You know, we just talked about some key big marquee names in the sport. You know, obviously now you're in a situation where you can really add to your legacy every single fight and get yourself to a title shot, get yourself to beat one of these big names. Are you looking at these guys as motivation? Are you looking at other guys kind of like as enemies? How are you looking at the guys now that you spent so long being fans of? Now you're on the same platform as them.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like, you know, when your idols become your rivals. When that day comes, when I have to once I, you know, start climbing the rankings and I start fighting these guys, I have to put their names behind them. Because at the end of the day, I'm not fighting their names. So some people tend to crack under pressure because they're like, oh, I'm fighting so-and-so. Like, this is the guy I've been like, and that's what I like about Songadong and Henry Cejudo, you know? He was saying that he watched Henry Cejudo back in the Olympics and like all that, and it was cool. But when the lights came on, it was like, I'm not fighting Henry Cejudo. I'm just fighting. It's just another fight, and I know I'm skilled enough. So you got to put that all behind you and just, you know, and do your thing. You're just fighting another guy. That's it.
So coming off the win over Vince Morales, 1-0 now in a perfect world. How many more contests this year?
I want to get a total of 3. So I want to, you know, hopefully we get back in there pretty soon. Vince already got his fight booked. I was like, damn, that could have been me. Shit. But it's all good. You know, whatever my management tells me, you know, I'm all for it. Whatever the UFC gives me, I'm all for it. Never turned anybody down. Never pulled out of a fight. So I want to keep up with that good juju, and yeah, whoever they give me. I don't really have a real opponent right now of like a call out. I don't have a real call out, but yeah, whoever they give me, man, I smash them all. I don't care. I smash, brother.
There you go. Elijah, last question for you, my friend. So we still got about 10 more months left here in 2025. In a perfect world, how does this year play out for you?
Like I said, 3 more fights, or total of 3 fights. So 2 more fights and both finishes. I feel like that's the one thing that I'm missing. That I feel like I want to show everybody and show Dana White, like, I can definitely, and Mick Mader and Sean Shelby, like, I got the finishes on the regional level. Now it is harder to get, you know, finishes in the UFC level, but I feel like I want to be able to say I got a finish on the UFC platform, you know, and show everybody I'm not just, you know, not this one trick pony, or, which is cool. I mean, the 2 fights that I had, they were wars, but goddamn, I can't keep going into or going through wars. You know, I want to go out there and just boom, or go out there, you know, beat the guy up, take him down, submit him, get up out of there as clean as possible. So, but hey, if that how that works, at least hopefully next time I get a bonus or something.
There you go. Well, hey, Elijah, man, I really appreciate your time, my friend. Really enjoyed talking to you on this Saturday morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's it for us today. I'm Carlo Prusa. He is the 135 sensation. He is Mr. Elijah Quicks or Smith. Oh, he is Elijah Swift Smith. I can't even talk. I'm so excited to talk to you right now.
No, you good.
Take it easy, Fight fans.
Thank you.